Never spend the night in these holiday houses. If you value your sanity. Our story unfolds in a remote holiday village, known for its serene beauty, but also for the dark legend of a chainsaw massacre. Meet Lucy, a young woman seeking a peaceful retreat. She had heard whispers of the eerie occurrences in the area, but she dismissed them as mere tales to spook visitors. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lucy checked into her rented holiday house. The wooden cabin creaked with every step, and the air was thick with an unsettling calm. As Lucy settled in, she noticed an old newspaper clipping framed on the wall. It detailed the gruesome story of a chainsaw massacre that took place decades ago. The victims were brutally slain by an unknown assailant. The ghost of the Chainsaw Massacre, locals whispered, still haunted the holiday houses. They claimed to hear the distant roar of a chainsaw and the chilling screams of its victims on quiet nights. Lucy felt a shiver run down her spine, but brushed it off. She decided to explore the surroundings, hoping to find solace in the beauty of nature. As she wandered through the dense woods, Lucy felt an eerie presence. The rustling of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl seemed to grow louder, and she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Suddenly, Lucy heard a faint but distinct sound, the revving of a chainsaw. Her heart raced as she turned around, scanning the forest for any signs of danger. But there was nothing. Determined to prove herself wrong, Lucy continued her walk. She stumbled upon an old, abandoned shack, its windows boarded up, and the door slightly ajar. Curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to take a closer look. Inside the shack, the air was damp and cold. Dust covered the old furniture, and cobwebs hung from the corners. Lucy's flashlight illuminated the room, casting eerie shadows on the walls. As she explored the shack, Lucy found an old, rusted chainsaw lying in a corner. It seemed out of place, and a sense of dread washed over her. She decided it was time to leave. Back in her holiday house, Lucy tried to shake off the unsettling feeling. She lit a fire in the fireplace and settled down with a book, hoping to distract herself from the eerie events of the evening. But as night fell, the atmosphere grew more oppressive. Lucy heard strange noises, footsteps outside, the creaking of floorboards, and the faint sound of a chainsaw revving in the distance. Her heart pounded as she realized the legend might be true. The ghost of the Chainsaw Massacre was real, and it was haunting her holiday house. Determined to uncover the truth, Lucy decided to investigate the history of the massacre. She searched through old records, newspapers, and local legends, piecing together the chilling story. The massacre had taken place on a cold, foggy night, many years ago. The victims were a group of friends on vacation, brutally slain by an unknown assailant, wielding a chainsaw. The killer was never caught, and the motive remained a mystery. Locals believed that the ghost of the killer still roamed the holiday houses, seeking revenge on anyone who dared to stay there. They claimed the ghost could possess people, driving them to madness. As Lucy delved deeper into the story, she felt a growing sense of dread. The more she learned, the more she realized the danger she was in. The ghost was real, and it was coming for her. That night, Lucy decided to confront the ghost. She gathered her courage and ventured into the dark woods, armed with a flashlight and a sense of determination. As she approached the abandoned shack, Lucy felt a chill in the air. The sound of the chainsaw grew louder, and she could hear faint whispers echoing through the trees. Inside the shack, Lucy found the old, rusted chainsaw glowing with an eerie light. She knew she had to find a way to put the ghost to rest. Lucy chanted the incantation, her voice trembling. The air grew colder, and the ground beneath her seemed to tremble. She felt a surge of energy, as the ghost's presence became more palpable. Suddenly, the ghost of the Chainsaw Massacre appeared before her, a translucent figure with hollow eyes and a menacing grin. It held the chainsaw, its ghostly form flickering in the dim light. Lucy stood her ground, refusing to be intimidated. She continued to chant, hoping to break the ghost's hold on the holiday houses. The ghost let out a blood-curdling scream and lunged at Lucy, its chainsaw roaring to life. Lucy dodged the attack, her heart pounding with fear and adrenaline. With every ounce of strength she had, Lucy completed the incantation. The ghost let out one final scream, before dissolving into thin air, leaving the shack in an eerie silence. Exhausted and shaken, Lucy knew she had succeeded. The ghost of the Chainsaw Massacre was finally at rest, and the holiday houses were free from its haunting presence. Lucy returned to her holiday house, her heart filled with a sense of relief and triumph. She knew she had faced her fears and emerged stronger for it. As she packed her bags to leave the next morning, Lucy couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. She had uncovered the truth and put an end to the terrifying legend. But as she drove away from the holiday village, Lucy couldn't shake the feeling that the ghost's presence still lingered. The legend would live on, haunting the memories of those who dared to visit the holiday houses. Despite her success in confronting the ghost, Lucy couldn't escape the lingering sense of unease. She decided to share her experience with others, hoping to warn them of the dangers lurking in the holiday houses. She contacted local historians, paranormal investigators, and even the media, hoping to spread the word about the haunted holiday village. Her story captured the attention of many, and soon, the village became a hotspot for ghost hunters and thrill seekers. Lucy returned to the village with a team of paranormal investigators, determined to uncover any remaining secrets. As they explored the holiday houses and the surrounding woods, they encountered strange occurrences and eerie phenomena. One night, as they conducted an investigation in one of the holiday houses, they heard the unmistakable sound of a chainsaw revving in the distance. The investigators' equipment picked up unusual readings, and they captured eerie footage of ghostly apparitions. The team discovered that the ghost's presence was still strong, and it seemed to be growing more powerful. They realized that the ghost had not been fully vanquished, and its malevolent spirit still lingered in the village. Determined to put an end to the haunting, once and for all, Lucy and the investigators delved deeper into the history of the massacre. They uncovered old records and testimonies from witnesses who had experienced strange events in the village over the years. They learned that the killer had been a tormented soul, driven to madness by a traumatic event in their past. The Chainsaw Massacre had been an act of revenge, and the ghost's spirit had been unable to find peace. Lucy and the investigators decided to perform a ritual to help the ghost find closure and move on to the afterlife. They gathered in the heart of the village, their hearts heavy with the weight of their task. As they chanted the incantation, the air grew colder, and the ground beneath them seemed to tremble. The ghost's presence became more palpable, and they could see its translucent form flickering in the darkness. The ghost let out a blood-curdling scream, its chainsaw roaring to life. The investigators held their ground, refusing to be intimidated. They continued to chant, hoping to break the ghost's hold on the village. With every ounce of strength they had, they completed the incantation. The ghost let out one final scream, before dissolving into thin air, leaving the village in an eerie silence. Exhausted and shaken, Lucy and the investigators knew they had succeeded. The ghost of the Chainsaw Massacre was finally at rest, and the holiday village was free from its haunting presence. Lucy continued to document her experiences, hoping to educate others about the dangers of meddling with dark forces. She wrote a book about the haunted village, sharing her story with the world. Her book became a bestseller, and Lucy found herself in the spotlight. She used her newfound fame to advocate for responsible paranormal investigations, and to raise awareness about the importance of respecting the unknown. Despite her success, Lucy never forgot the chilling events that had unfolded in the holiday village. She remained vigilant, always aware of the thin veil between the living and the dead. Lucy knew that there were still many mysteries to uncover, and she continued her work as a paranormal investigator. She traveled to other haunted locations, facing new challenges and uncovering the secrets of the supernatural. Through it all, Lucy remained determined to protect others from the dangers of the unknown. She had faced her fears and emerged stronger for it, and she was ready to confront whatever came next. As she stood on the edge of the holiday village, Lucy couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. She had uncovered the truth and put an end to a terrifying legend. But she also knew that the world was filled with countless other mysteries waiting to be solved. Years passed, and Lucy's reputation as a paranormal investigator grew. She had become a respected figure in the field, known for her courage and determination in the face of the unknown. One day, Lucy received a letter from a man named Richard. He claimed to have experienced similar hauntings in his own village, and begged for her help. Intrigued, Lucy agreed to investigate, feeling a familiar sense of determination. Upon arriving in Richard's village, Lucy noticed an eerie atmosphere, similar to the holiday village she had once freed from its haunting presence. The villagers shared tales of ghostly apparitions and strange noises in the night, all centered around an old, abandoned farmhouse. Determined to help, Lucy began her investigation. She interviewed villagers, uncovering stories of a tragic event that had taken place at the farmhouse many years ago. A family had been brutally murdered by a man driven to madness, wielding a chainsaw. The killer had never been caught, and the ghost of the chainsaw wielder was said to haunt the farmhouse, seeking revenge. Lucy delved deeper into the history of the farmhouse, uncovering old records and diaries that revealed the killer's identity. The murderer had been a tormented soul, driven to madness by a series of personal tragedies. The Chainsaw Massacre had been an act of revenge, and the ghost's spirit had been unable to find peace. Determined to help the ghost find closure, Lucy decided to perform a ritual similar to the one she had used in the holiday village. She gathered the necessary items: candles, sage, and a silver amulet said to hold protective powers. One stormy night, Lucy and Richard made their way to the abandoned farmhouse. The wind howled, and the trees seemed to whisper as they approached the dilapidated building. Inside, the air was cold and damp, and an oppressive atmosphere hung over the room. Lucy lit the candles and burned the sage, chanting the incantation she had learned. The air grew colder, and the ground beneath them trembled. The ghost's presence became more palpable, and they could see its translucent form flickering in the darkness. The ghost let out a blood-curdling scream, its chainsaw roaring to life. Lucy and Richard stood their ground, refusing to be intimidated. They continued to chant, hoping to break the ghost's hold on the farmhouse. With every ounce of strength they had, They completed the incantation. The ghost let out one final scream, before dissolving into thin air, leaving the farmhouse in an eerie silence. Exhausted and shaken, Lucy and Richard knew they had succeeded. The ghost of the Chainsaw Massacre was finally at rest, and the village was free from its haunting presence. Lucy continued to document her experiences, hoping to educate others about the dangers of meddling with dark forces. She wrote another book about the haunted farmhouse, sharing her story with the world. Her second book became a bestseller, and Lucy's reputation as a paranormal investigator continued to grow. But the legend does not care about any reputation. Still, you can hear a faint but distinct sound in the distance, when you least expect it. The sound of somebody, or something, revving a chainsaw. Was this scary story to your liking? Remember to like, share, and subscribe, for more terrifying stories that'll keep you up at night.